And I think we're live. So it's Tech Thursday. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Cassie.
And you know what I called this today, Cassie?
What?
I called it Mission Subscription. I did that just for that look on your face. We're talking about...
I'm trying to figure out. Is it because it rhymes?
Sort of. It sort of rhymes. I was mostly looking for that look. That's what I was going for when I needed that. But we're just talking about website subscriptions mainly because one of our clients, I was working on their website yesterday, and one of their issues with it was they have, on the social media icons, they have the F or the whatever. And one of the ones that typically is there is a little email icon. In this particular case, that email icon was to subscribe to the email, not to send an email. It's not like you clicked on that and your Outlook or whatever popped up. You could write an email, which is what they were expecting. So they were a little confused by it. And honestly, this person is a former web designer. So that made me think, well, if this person doesn't quite understand the difference, then maybe other people don't either, because she's a pretty smart person. So yeah, so that's why I thought subscriptions would be a fun topic to talk about. Now, do you subscribe to any websites in your life that you can share with the public?
No.
Nice. Intriguing.
Yeah, that does sound questionable after your setup there. But
I know. I was totally... You don't subscribe to email newsletters or anything, or...
No.
Really?
Ours, just so I can,
Just ours, so I can make sure it goes out, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I'm really not big on being part of any of that. I just have no interest. And when people try to do checking out at stores, there's always that awkward moment when they're like, "And what's your email?" No. It is very.
Do you just give them a fake email?
No, I
say
give
them a fake phone number.
I say no, thanks, I'm not interested. Because I'm I know exactly what you need it for.
To email you your receipt, Cassie, why else would they be using your email address?
Just write it on my hand if you want to save paper.
But do you get I don't know, do you subscribe? Is there any forums and you're like, oh, here's the latest from this particular forum where everyone's talking about the Sugarloaf Marathon or whatever? No.
Nope. The only thing for when I sign up to do races online, occasionally they'll say the next year later they'll say, hey, it's time to register again. That's about as close as I get. But it's not.
And that's not really subscribe. That's
no,
just letting you know that it's coming back up.
Because I unclick the little so yeah, I'm really not big on email newsletter subscribing.
Or just or subscribing in general. So because I guess when you ask people to subscribe to your website, it's important to think about what is going to happen after they click subscribe. I've met people who oh, I turned that on. I have no idea how many email addresses are back there. And so they haven't thought through okay, well, what does it mean to subscribe? So a couple of questions to ask yourself are how many times are you going to send out updates, right? It's a good question. Are you going to do them weekly? Are you going to do them monthly? Are you going to do them once a year to get Cassie to re-sign up for the marathon that she ran with you last year? And then you want to think about, do you want things that are pre-formatted and all pretty and stuff that you write out? Or do you want stuff that when you update your blog that people can automatically get those kind of updates via email? Or if you have say new events. So yeah, so kind of depending on how much of a control freak you are would maybe depend on your option there. But you can actually set up emails to automatically go out. We have our blog automatically go out to people who subscribe via email if they want to get
that one.
I get that because you have to.
Because I made it.
And how complicated was that? Because I think you're the one who set that up.
Yeah, it was really easy because I set it up.
No, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, it was a piece of cake. They have all the steps in there. There's like 1 or 2 issues that I'd like to sort out, but it's this weird coding thing that I don't know how to do.
Yeah.
But
No, but basically, like you need, first of all, you can't just have all these people sitting in your email. You can't just have all these people sitting in your Gmail contacts. Like, that is not gonna fly.
it's like having, I don't know, piles of money just sitting around. Like, you're just kind of, I feel like going out to a boat and just kind of,
Well, there's a bunch of local people who like have businesses, and I subscribe to email updates, but now what they do is they just blind copy me with a bunch of other people. So my only way of not getting them anymore, or somehow, I can't like decide not to get them for a while and then get them again. Like I can't subscribe, unsubscribe, or resubscribe, right? Because they're just blind copying with a bunch of other people. So I have 2 issues right now. So there's a place down the street, they just opened up. So I signed up for their email list thinking like, I'm gonna support them. So they blind copy me. So I'm getting these emails all the time. Like I'm getting like 2 emails a week about what they have in stock and what they don't have in stock. And I'm about ready to kill myself. But the problem is I either have to go over there and have an awkward conversation with somebody, or I have to mark them as spam. Now they're not spam, right? Like I signed up, I just changed my mind. So I feel like with this kind of stuff, it's like I'm not allowed to change my mind. So please use some kind of system, constant contact if you really want to, or like MailChimp, Aweber. I mean, there's tons of them out there. There's like literally hundreds of email subscription providers that are compliant. And part of compliance is letting people unsubscribe, not blind copying a bunch of people on an email that you can't ever get out of. So I will say, first of all, you set something like that up, and then you use the RSS feed of your website, and you connect that to your email list. So when something changes on your website, the RSS feed notices via some code that Cassie put in our email template. It pulls it into an email template, and it automatically sends out. So in our case, what we've done is we update our blog 3 times a week. Once with this video and twice with 2 other things. Typically Mondays and Fridays.
if you want to find out, you can subscribe.
You totally can. So if you subscribe, like if you go to our, breakingeveninc.com/newsletter, you have 2 subscription options, and there's 2 boxes. One box says our monthly email newsletter, and that's the one that we write the special content for that only goes to the newsletter. I mean, Cassie spends like hours on this thing. It's pretty, it's useful. Anyway, it's like our sort of,
It's good times.
yeah, it's our like sort of editorial masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
This other thing, which is your second option, is like 3 times a week we update our blog, and we have this update. Does it go out Wednesdays or Thursdays?
Tuesdays at 10.
Tuesdays at 10 a.m. What it does is our little email list smartly checks out, oh hey, what's new on the website, pulls it in, it automatically sends it to our email subscribers. Of which I think there are 20, because we just set it up like 3 months ago and then didn't tell anyone about it.
2 of them are my parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. My mom doesn't subscribe.
I told them to.
Oh, nice. That might help me. Now we have 21 after I talked to my mom.
To be fair, I didn't tell them. I just sent them the link. It was like, hey, look at what I just did, and they kind of took the bait.
Nice. Hey, we'll take it.
The cool thing with the RSS thing too is it's really just a setup thing. Like that's what takes the most time. And then you obviously want to like check and make sure it's going out and nothing's wonky. Yeah. So you can't just like set it on autopilot or like cruise control and just go.
Right, but it's not like you log in every Tuesday at 9:53 and like are frantically like typing these articles into a template. This is an automatic situation, guys.
Yeah. And the hardest work is just the setup. But even like with MailChimp, which is what we use, they have all the shortcode stuff that you need in this form as you're setting it up. And they're like, if you want to do this, just copy and paste this.
Oh,
That's all you do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you can make it pretty. You can put like a pretty header on it. You can just put a background, And then it just pulls in the information and puts it on a pretty header and a pretty background.
Yeah.
So in some cases, like I said, as long as you're not like a complete control freak, that can function well. But occasionally, like we want to reformat ours. Like it's looking pretty good, but like it would be nice to like pull in the featured image or something like that. And honestly, with 20 people, it just hasn't been worth us sitting down and spending 2 hours figuring out what's wrong with it.
It's like a weird schema. I looked into it and it was like
It's something on our website, isn't it?
it's something that we have to go back and
then what happens is we're in the process of thinking about redesigning our website. So we're like, well, geez, we're not going to go through all this. We're redesigning anyway. It's this whole thing. But
it's a loop.
yeah, it's totally a loop. All I have to say is we understand it's beautiful. It will become more beautiful as life goes on here. But that happens automatically versus the monthly email newsletter, which is one that we actually spent time making it look really pretty and making sure that this image appears here exactly and has this padding around it. And so I don't know. It's
super fun.
Super fun. Wow, you said that's so convincingly. No.
I was just looking at magazines and I had that flashback of, did you ever have to sell magazine subscriptions for fundraisers at school?
You know,
I
like
remember being like the worst salesperson ever. Mom, can you buy this? I don't know. I was like 7 and I just knew that I hated it.
yeah, there's something about selling people things you don't feel like they need. It's a lot easier to sell something that you feel whatever about. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like I was always kind of a big consumer of content even before there was any online. So I was just, honestly, like if I was somewhere and it was like, there was one National Geographic magazine on a table and I was like 6, I'd be like, all right, guess I'm trying to read this. And I pick it up and I try to read it. But behind some of those magazines was like stuff you could sell to start your own business. Like, so you'd sell it like sort of on a continuing basis and you would keep proceeds. I was much more interested in that than selling crap for my school. I was just like, what, you guys don't have money to take us to the Maine State Museum? Like, really?
Did you have like this sell 10 items and you get this like glow in the dark frisbee and then sell like 20 items and you get this?
They did have the stuff, but I was like, no, I want money. Like, give me money. I don't want the glow in the dark frisbee. I'm not very good at frisbee.
And then if I try to play frisbee in the dark, it's like all bets are off.
You'd have to stick it under the light, like directly under a light for like 10 hours, and then it might last like 5 minutes outside. Yeah, those were not very good prizes. Yes, you're right though, there was totally prizes. And I think that's why I ended up never doing it, because I wanted money. So I don't want this crappy prize.
I think he used to have this weird bouncy ball collection. By weird, I mean like in his shoebox under my bed, like just bouncy balls everywhere.
My sister had a bouncy ball collection. I had a pen collection.
Nice.
Yeah, I had George Mitchell, which was at the time our state senator, because we went to Washington, D.C., and somehow we got to meet George Mitchell. I don't know what my parents did to get that to happen. And I had him sign an autograph, and I was really into pens. I had this, like, it was like a shark, like, made of, like, foam with beady eyes on top. So George Mitchell, I wish I had a picture of this. He's signing the autograph, and, like, the little googly eyes are, like, he's like, oh, this is a really cool pen. Like, and now he's this like really important person, and not that he wasn't at that time, but now he's like, you know, he's like an internationally known like whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, if I ever meet him, I'm gonna be like, hey George Mitchell, nice to meet you. I met you when I was 10 and I had a shark pen. Maybe you remember me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I had a pen collection and she had a bouncy ball collection. We had collections going on.
But so many random collections. The bouncy ball was the biggest one, but I had a rock collection. I made my mom drag 2 5-gallon buckets of rocks each. They didn't appreciate how heavy they were because I was like 6. So I was like, well, I know I can't lift it, but I can't lift anything because I'm 6. And then I didn't like any of them because they weren't as pretty when they weren't wet. Like these were all like rocks I had gone swimming in, like.
Aww.
Then I got home and I was like, huh. And my mom was just like, anyway, back to subscriptions.
Now, if you could subscribe to your rock,
like a monthly rock in the like nature box, but with rock.
Right, and that's another thing to think of. If you don't have information packaged together, like
subscription boxes.
Yeah, these subscription boxes are really, really all the rage. My sister gets like some kind of beauty one.
Birchbox?
Yes. Yeah, she gets do you get Birchbox
I
too?
don't.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not a
either.
subscriber. If
Yeah.
I did though, it would be for food or for pretty things.
Pretty things, yeah. And I've been considering doing that Stitch Fix thing that Allison, our friend Allison, kind of turned us on to. Considering that they, yeah, so it's like a subscription-based sort of wardrobe service. It's sort of like something you can turn on and off, so I guess it's not really a subscription, but I sort of like the idea. I think we all kind of like the idea of like things that have been curated for us.
Yeah.
It's basically like sending yourself a care package. So you know what it is. And you can't really ask your mom to send you care packages after a certain point, but it's kind of like that. It's like someone else kind of thought about what you might like and picked some stuff out for you. Like, that's nice. So you can make people feel that way with your subscriptions, whether it's, like I said, an email newsletter where you're putting stuff together and sending it to a group of people who you think might be interested, or whether you're actually, you know, putting items together and sending it out. Just know so many local places that like, oh, we're the only people that sell this item or sell that item, or people really like this. And like, yeah, why don't you let people like get it slowly over time? Like what's there? Oh, like, so we have a local houseware store called Window Panes, and they have these drinking glasses that have all the states on them. Like they have this like cool like state art on it. I don't think they're the only people who sell them, but I ended up, when Alice moved away, I got her a glass from each place that I got her a set of like 6 or 4 glass, I can't remember, but each, so she's a glass from each of the states she lived in. But what I thought would be fun is like, they're kind of expensive, right? And the only reason I waited for the Midnight Madness sale to buy them and all that stuff, because I mean, I think it was still like $60 or something, 4 glasses. So I was like, oh, well, what if like people could just subscribe and sort of get like a new glass every month? Like that would be kind of fun. And you could sort of spread out the cost of that over the course of, you know, 6 months to a year, and potentially package it with some other things. I don't know. I was just thinking like, oh, maybe it would be nice for people to get little main treats in the mail, you know, for the 6 months that they don't live here, because there's a lot of people who only live here 6 months. I get why. I mean, 6 months of this lifestyle are a little bit harder to take than the other 6 months.
Well, we crammed in like this 6 months of crap into like 3 months of crap.
It's true. We really did. I mean, it's
It
beautiful
didn't
spring.
start until January, but then it was
It's
done in
true.
March, pretty much.
No, that's very true. Like we had,
But it was a lot in 3 months.
no, we had the Norway Dry Winter Olympics, and then like 2 weeks later, like we could see grass. It was bizarre. It happened really fast. This year.
Yeah, and I kept getting stuck in the snow because it was so deep. Forgot about that.
Oh my
That was
God.
my fault. I was trying to climb in like the deep parts.
Yeah. But anyway, subscriptions. They're fun for people to get. And there's something to consider no matter what your business model is.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like you said, it's a little, you know, you have to be really straightforward about your website. If someone is seeing a little email icon or has a little box to put their email in, like being super clear with them about sort of what's gonna happen would kind of be nice.
Yeah, like contact us. Maybe to let them know.
Right.
Are we gonna differentiate between?
Yes. Yeah, we're talking about, yeah, because sometimes you're like, okay, like I put my email address into here or whatever, or I've put this and it's what's happening, where am I going? I think when people see the email icon, they're not thinking subscribe by email, they're thinking they're gonna click on it and somehow an email is gonna get sent to somebody.
Yeah,
That's what I would think, but.
that's what I would think.
Yeah, so that those icons can be misleading. So if you want to subscribe via email to our updates, you might want to be a little bit more forthcoming about that in your language or in your offer.
Yeah. I was just thinking of like Disney for some reason, those like blind roller coasters where you're just like chilling and then it's kind of dark so you don't necessarily know and suddenly you're like upside down because you didn't know what to expect.
Right.
Don't make people feel like that. I mean, you're getting on a ride at Disney, so maybe you kind of have
You have a
inkling
certain level of it.
something's gonna happen, and I don't know what.
I feel like you though, you would be a lot more upset if you were at some carnival and some guy with like 2 teeth put you on that ride.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're a well-known website, sometimes you can get away with it, and if you have a certain brand or whatever, people know what to expect. But if you're an independent website like we are, you know, it's not like people come to our website, and even if they know us, they don't quite know what to expect because it's not like we have a brand with thousands of people working for us, you know. That's such an expectation. Yeah, for example. So yeah, so it's nice to sort of, and that's why at ours we're just really clear of like, this goes out once a month, this goes out, this is 3 times a week. And that is what you can expect when you check these boxes. Like, the other thing you can do is if you have a little location on your website where basically you can just fit like subscribe for updates and you just, you know, or something like that, and you can't be more detailed, what you can do is set up what's called an autoresponder with your email program. And what that does is that automatically responds. So what they can do is they can put it in, and then immediately they can get an email and it says, hey, welcome to Breaking Even. Here's what you can expect from us, blah, blah, blah. Like, so they can automatically get an email to just communicate what's gonna happen. So you can set up an autoresponder, like I said, with programs like, actually you can set up probably an autoresponder with your own email. I mean, look at like vacation responses, you know, like when someone's on vacation, you send them an email and it's like, I'm sorry, I will come back in August. And it's like June. So you can set up an autoresponder in your email to let people know what to expect. So if you have a new client or something and they, you know, subscribe to your updates, you can sort of let them know what's going on via an autoresponder, or you can, you know, just be really clear with the info box what's going to happen once they subscribe. Because we all wonder, I mean, everybody has a different idea of like what subscribe means and how often latest updates happen.
It's true.
Yeah. But I have, oh my God, so I have this, there's a service called Unroll Me. I haven't paid for it yet. I'm sort of looking at it. And every day I get a little what it does is it takes all the things you subscribe to and rolls them together. So now my list has slowly been building. So I have a feeling that my email address must have got sold somewhere because I haven't been signing up for it. So it started off at like 860 like a couple of months ago. And I'm like, I wonder when it's gonna get to 1,000. I got to 1,000 yesterday. I have 1,006 subscriptions that have been rolled together. And I'm like, how does this happen? Like, I mean, clearly, like I said, I don't know if my email got sold or something like that, but I did not go around the last 2 months and sign up for 200 new things. I really didn't. But the service, what it does is it takes all your subscriptions and puts them together, and you can unsubscribe like right from one dashboard.
That's awesome.
Or you can get like one email with all your marketing updates like in one place. So I think it's an interesting idea. Like I said, I haven't paid for it yet. I just kind of made an account, was checking it out. So every day I get a little thing being like, hey, you have 1,006 subscriptions now. Hey, probably like a few days from now it'll be like, hey, you have 1,050 subscriptions now. Like, so I was just waiting for the day to hit 1,000 because I was super curious. Like, this is clearly like, so I just want to like almost log in and, you know, rather than remembering every time I open a marketing email to finally unsubscribe and like click unsubscribe and have it be like, okay, what's your birthday? What's your niece's best friend? And stand on your head and then press submit. Like, rather than going through that, it's kind of nice to have one place to do it all. Some of them make it really hard for you to unsubscribe. We see you didn't really do that. Try again. No, really. We have eyes there. You're really not doing it. So yeah. Well, I'm sorry to propose a subscription topic if you don't subscribe to me.
No, you just
You get too much information in your life. Like, subscribe via RSS to things. Maybe we should talk a little bit about RSS feeds and how that's an alternative way to subscribe to something.
Yeah, I use Feedly for mainly work stuff, but it's a way to pull stuff in. I don't get notifications or anything like that, so that's nice, because I wouldn't look at them if I did. I'm just really bad about like if stuff comes in through my email that way. Just if I
Because so much comes in through email.
exactly like I want it email. I only want to be important stuff because otherwise I'm just gonna ignore it or be like, oh, I'll come back to this later and then not come back to it ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, RSS. It gives me, I guess, a little bit more control over what I want to read. When I want to read it.
Right. So you go to your reader and you're like, okay, all the websites I like have been pulled into here. And now that I'm in the mood to read, I can sit down and do that.
Yes.
Versus in the email, you can't really do that. The only reason I said, like I said, my big reason for subscribing to emails is like the Gap for their 40% off sale. I just wait for that one time a year or twice a year they do it. Then I'm like, great, here's the black t-shirt, here's the brown t-shirt. I'm such a dude about my shopping. Very functional. I mean, I love clothes, don't get me wrong, but when I find something that works, like every time I need a brown t-shirt, I'm not gonna go look at all the brown t-shirts and like reassess. I'm gonna be like, I like this brown t-shirt. I'm gonna buy it again. Boom. So I mostly do it for the discount codes that often come through email. And also I'm very aspirational. I have like Budget Traveler and American Airlines and whatever. Because I know airlines and stuff, they do a lot of discounting through email and through Twitter. But I don't quite have the on-itness for Twitter, I think, to stay on top of travel updates. So get them pulled into email. And then every time I see it, I'm like, oh, Derek and I should plan our honeymoon. And then I delete it. Maybe later. I'm gonna say, I'm like this close to being like, here, travel agent, here's the money we want to spend, here's the kind of places we want to go. Please plan it for us. I'm not very good at planning things. Yeah. As evidenced by my wedding, which was lovely, but like pretty laid back. I couldn't have handled any more than that. But yeah, so I'm an aspirational subscriber. Travel updates and coupon codes for my essentials. Yeah. But then they creep up. So they have 1,000 subscriptions. I have no idea how that happened.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah. No, but RSS is great, and I know it's a really tech thing. A lot of people don't know about it. But I've tried to get clients who have to read a lot to use RSS feeds because it's really efficient. It's not like you're gonna like, oh, I read the New York Times, CNN, blah, blah, blah every morning, right? Pretend you're that person. There is that person. These people, they go to each individual website and they look around. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so inefficient. You could just have the stuff pulled in and you could like sit with your little reader and be like, oh, here are the latest things. Oh, you know what? I don't want to read this now. I'm going to bookmark this for later. You click the little bookmark thing. It saves it in your little bookmark so you can go back and read it later. It's really lovely. And anytime you see, the site has an RSS feed, well, first of all, you can typically just take the URL, like newyorktimes.com, and stick it in, and it'll automatically find like the little feed. Or you can also look for the little orange icon that looks like, what's that look like? It looks almost like a television broadcast signal or something. It has like little.
Oh, like the Wi-Fi thing.
Yeah, it looks kind of like like a sideways Wi-Fi thing, like a little to one side. It's typically orange. That's an RSS feed icon. But a lot of people see that and they don't quite know what it means. So a lot of people have just taken it off the website because those of us who like RSS feeds know how to get them. So we don't need an icon to tell us it's there. So they used to be like more back in the day, 2009-ish. There was a lot more of them kicking around. That doesn't mean that RSS feeds aren't there. It just means that they're not, linked up with an icon. They're not, yeah. So if you're the kind of person who likes to do a lot of reading or like, especially uses like a device, like they're great for like, an iPhone or an iPad or something like that. If you're gonna sit down for coffee and do some reading, it's a lovely interface versus going to the individual websites, wondering if they're gonna be mobile friendly, wondering if you're gonna miss that third story down about whatever that you would have noticed had it pulled into your Google Reader, but didn't notice on the website. So, subscription. Yeah. It's your mission. No, it's not really, but it's the kind of people who want to hear from you on a regular basis, and you like those people because they probably buy stuff from you, or they're at least thinking about it pretty hard.
Yeah.
Or they're your mom. That's fine too.
If we could do a Venn diagram.
Maybe we need to get a whiteboard here. We can draw things.
That would be kind of awesome.
Well, you know, like Moz has Whiteboard Friday, and they take a different tech topic. I don't know if you watch these; they're great. And they'll be like, "All right, we're gonna explain to you how podcasting works," and then they'll like start like whiteboarding it up, and it's usually like somebody who's relatively artistic. I mean, better than I am. Like he'll draw like a little, and it has very neat handwriting, which I don't have. My handwriting's pretty terrible, actually. So you'll have to do our whiteboards stuff because I feel like you have more artistic talent. I've seen your drawings.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So work on a Venn diagram for next time.
Speaking of subscribing, you can subscribe to YouTube channels
Yeah,
like this one.
that's true.
Yeah, and you will be able to see all our little videos when they
Right.
come out.
And you'll know when there's a new one because it'll tell you.
Exactly. And yeah, if you have any other questions or topics for Tech Thursday, if you have a Venn diagram that your heart's just absolutely set on seeing, you can leave a comment on this video, send us an email, maybe sign up for your email subscription while you're in there. I don't know.
Absolutely. You can do that right from our contact form. We've made it super easy. Yeah, that's the other thing. Make it easy. All right. Stay classy, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Gotta stop the broadcast. Gotta stop the broadcast. Broadcast is